Thanks for staying with us. Now, the funeral rites of late former Vice President Kwesi Bekwai Amissah-Arthur has begun at the Accra International Conference Center. The remains of the late statesman have been laid in state as for friends and families to bid him their farewell. The filing past, which is still underway, has attracted a lot of sympathizers from politics to academia. Joy News spoke to some of them.
We worked with the social protection policy. We are talking about identifying needy students for free SHS. Kwesi Amissah-Arthur was the one who launched the Ghana Household Registry and the Child and Family Welfare Policy. Very dedicated, very efficient, always gave us the financial and economic perspective of our social protection and child-related programs. And I'm really very grateful to have worked under him. It's a very tragic loss. He has served his country well. And let's emulate this perfect public servant who was honest, who was principled, who was hardworking. Let's emulate him. Public servants, public officers, presidents, vice presidents, politicians. This is a gentleman, a politician, a public servant, a gentleman whom we need to emulate. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Let's go live to the venue for the filing past, and my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is standing by. Right, hello Maxwell, good afternoon. What's the latest there?
Yeah. Okay. Live here at we are live here at the Accra International Conference Center. We have a lot of big wigs of the NDC currently here on the ground. They've done the filing past and they are now seated here. We have the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress here with us, Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Let's get closer to him and then find out from him. Mr. Nketia, welcome to join me.
Thank you very much.
Kwesi Bekwai Amissah-Arthur, former Vice President, has passed on. What are your fondest memories of him as the General Secretary of the party?
Thank you very much, my brother. I think that if I want to talk about memories of Amissah-Arthur, we will take the whole day. But I have a personal loss and a loss to the party. My fondest memories of Amissah-Arthur would have to do with his sense of humor. He's a very good person who stabilizes every situation where there is heat and anger with his very good sense of humor. And it's been wonderful working with him. I remember him for his time consciousness. He's somebody who respects time a lot. And you know, operating in a Ghanaian situation with that attitude to time brings you in conflict with many people. But I remember him for his time consciousness, his attention to detail, and his Christian principles and values. And so I think that these are things that Ghanaians should emulate. And then his sense of humility. He doesn't relate to people based on principles of superiority. He brings himself down in every environment and then interacts with human beings as co-equals, no matter who he's dealing with. He lets you feel that he's dealing with a colleague.
What lessons can we draw from the exemplary life that he lived?
I've already spoken about the lessons. I think that he can be remembered best if we make an effort, or politicians make an effort to copy the example examples he said whilst working on the surface of this well. For politicians to work with humility and not to allow our positions go into our heads, that wherever you are, in what position you find yourself, you are, after all, a mortal human being who will leave us one day. We can also, as I said, copy his example for attention to detail. Every member of our cabinet will remember PK for his incisive questions in trying to elicit the details about numbers, the details about timing, about any proposal that any minister will bring to, cabinet. And I think may he rest in peace.
Thank you very much. You just heard Johnson Asiedu Ketia. He's the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Now let's speak to Mr. Kofi Portofi. He's the chairman of the party. Let's find out from him also how he's been mourning the late former vice president.
For the poor quality of that feed. Now, lawyers in the Brong-Ahafo region are condemning the tragic loss of a senior colleague and one-time Ghana ambassador to India through a car accident when he met with a car driven by a police officer. Now, 83-year-old lawyer Dr. Sylvester Ankoma, who was still in active service, died a few hours ago at the Brong-Ahafo Regional Hospital, Sunyani, after he was knocked down by a car driven by Police Sergeant Alfred Osu-Asare Tuesday night.
The Brong-Ahafo Regional MTTD Director, Superintendent Stella Sedame, told Joy News the accident occurred when the renowned legal practitioner, in an attempt to cross the road, crashed into the oncoming Renault Saloon car with registration number GT 122311 in front of the Sunya Municipal Assembly. The MTTD Regional Director said the sergeant, who has been detained since the incident, is still under investigation.
Dr. Sylvester Ankama, a legal practitioner, aged about 83 years, was crossing the road from the municipal assembly to the other side, Six Stars Pharmacy, to purchase drugs. So in the course of that, the accident occurred, and then he has to be rushed to the hospital. So this morning, police had information that he has passed on, and the body is at the morgue, waiting autopsy, and investigation is ongoing. So,
what about the driver, Sergeant Alfred Osu-Asare?
Yeah, when the accident happened, the sergeant was detained, and in fact, he's still around, and then we have to take his statements. But the investigator has also gone to assist the family. So when he returns, the investigator, his information will be taken, and then we'll take further.
President of the Brong-Ahafo Regional Bar Association, lawyer Alfred Osu-Asare, told Joy News the fraternity is saddened by the tragic loss of the father and senior colleague. He noted that Dr. Ankoma, who was also a reverend minister at the Bethel Prayer Ministry in Sunyani, will not only be missed by the Bar Association, but also by academia.
Dr. Ankama, in his youthful days, at the time that he was living in the UK, took to writing, so he decided to write certain books. If you go to UK, you realize that some of the books that they use for the police training, he wrote some of those books. In Ghana here too, there are books that he has written, and currently he is one of the lecturers at the university that's offering law in Sunyani here. So in terms of his demise, apart from the bar losing him as a father and someone that we see as an inspirer, people in academia too have also lost a lecturer. And some of us think that Dr. Ankama lived a life that some of us must emulate him. His integrity was just unparalleled. He was not someone who was ready to do things contrary to what's expected of him as a lawyer. So with this demise, certainly that vacuum has been created, but God knows best. In terms of juniors at the bar, those of us at the bar, our spiritual life, Dr. Ankama being a reverend of the Virtual Prayer Ministry used to just at times speak to us, advise us. When we go for our meetings, he's been leading us in prayers. So this is my step. Certainly, we are going to lose him. We're going to listen.
Now, the policeman captured on video beating a client of Midland Savings and Loans Company, Lance Corporal Frederick Amano, has pleaded not guilty to the charge of assault when he was put before an Accra Circuit Court today. Frederick Amano was arrested last week Friday after the video of the police brutality went viral on social media. The woman, Patience Safo, was reportedly trying to withdraw money after office hours due to frustrations from the bank. She was allegedly assaulted by the policeman for refusing to leave the banking hall of Midland Savings and Loans Shashi branch with her grandchild. She was arraigned on a Thursday morning but pleaded not guilty to the charge of assault. Circuit Court Judge Janet Harriet Akwelekwe remanded him into police custody and adjourned the case to August 9, 2018. Our man in court is Joseph Akable. He joins us now. Joseph, what more do we know about the case?
So, Daniel, some fresh details that have emerged in the statement, as in the details that the police prosecutors put out when the case was called in court. The first bit of information we know now is that the police officer, when he was arrested, the caution statement that he signed he admitted to the offense. But when the case was called at the circuit court, he pleaded not guilty to the charge of assault. The second bit is that the woman was actually, that is, the alleged assault took place the third time she had gone to the financial institution to withdraw her money. So she first went on the 13th of July, the second time being the 16th, and the third time being the 19th, where the alleged assault is said to have taken place. And on all those three occasions, we are told that the financial institution attended to ask customers, yet they failed to attend to her each time, saying that it was due to the network challenge. We are told that there was a given day that there was a request actually that she be allowed with 105 cedis to pay off debts and take care of the child, but the financial institution did not allow her to do that. So by way of additional information that has cropped up since the facts of the case were read, this is what we have so far.
Was the woman there, Patience Safo?
She wasn't present in court.
Right. Joseph Akable, thank you very much. We'll be following this case shortly. Now, let's move to other issues. In the 2017 Auditor General Report on Public Accounts of Ministries, Departments and Agencies has revealed that the Ghana School Feeding Program invested 16 million Ghana cedis with Daylex Finance and Leasing Company, as well as Cowbank in 2016. The report indicated that the program invested 5 million Ghana cedis and 11 million Ghana cedis in July 2016. This report further stated that the investment was inappropriate, given that government institutions are not required to make such investments unless with the express approval of the Ministry of Finance. The school feeding program has in recent years been battling with some challenges as far as funding is concerned. In May, scores of caterers under the school feeding program besieged the premises of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, demanding the payment of their arrears. Some of the caterers said they had not been paid for more than 8 months. Now let's go over to the phone lines and speak to the coordinator of the school feeding program, Dr. Edu Nsia, to get some clarity on the matter. Now, Dr. Nsia, has your attention been drawn to the Auditor General's report, and what are your initial concerns? Hello, Dr. Nsia.
Yes.
Yes, we want to know what your initial reaction is to this mention of your institution in the Auditor General's report. That is, if you're aware of that.
All right. Good afternoon to you, and then good afternoon to your listeners. All of us have to say that this Auditor General's report is for 2016 financial year and not the 2017 financial year. Yes. As it has been stated, there were some investments that's from the school feeding to Daylex Finance and then Cowbank. All these things were carried out by the previous management. And what we have, that at the end of the period, they paid the full amount back into school feeding accounts. If there is time, I can go into the details of it and then mention them one after the other.
Right, go ahead.
All right. That is in July, that was 29th July 2016, an amount of 5 million was invested with Delex Finance. And then in November, that same 2016, they returned 3 million, that's back to school feeding. And then in December, that's January 2017, 4th January 2017, they returned 2.466941.09 pesos. This money was paid. And when you look at it, it earned an interest of 466,941 cedis and 9 pesos. This was for Delex Finance. Then, when you talk about
Dr. Sia, help me understand this. The interest of more than 400,000 Ghana cedis was retained by Delex Finance.
Yes, that's what we have on paper.
Okay. Was it the school feeding program that officially puts that money in Delex Finance?
At that time, yes. The management transferred this amount to Delex Finance.
Okay. For the sake of time, we cannot go through the rest of the transactions, but I will ask that what action would you pursue or would you recommend be taken against management at the time?
Once the Auditor General's report has captured it, then it will be taken up by the appropriate authority.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Edwinsia. He is the coordinator of the school feeding program. You're still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Stories gone by so far. Ghana mourns former Vice President Kwesi Bekwai Amissah-Arthur as scores throng the Accra International Conference Center to bid him farewell. Police runs over and kills 83-year-old astute lawyer and Ghana's former ambassador to India. The police officer who assaulted a client of the Midland Savings and Loans Company pleads not guilty to the charge of assault. Still up ahead, many communities remain cut off following heavy flooding in Kumasi. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, President Akufo-Addo climaxed his two-day tour of the Upper West region by calling on chiefs and people of the region to support him to succeed. He said his aim is to work to ensure that development of the country is balanced and inclusive. President Akufo-Addo made the statement in a meeting with chiefs from 6 districts in the Upper West region. Rafiq Salam reports from Japa.
The Upper West region does not only have poor and deplorable roads, but has the worst road network in the country. It is the region with the least bituminous surface in the country.
The Hameli Nandom Laura Road, the Laura Domini Heng Road, the Heng Zini Golu Road, the Wa Tumu Jeffisi Road, the Hameli Fielmo Tumu Road, and the Jirapa Domini Ko Nandom Road.
The Wahen Tumu Highway is one which for close to a decade has always found space in the country's budget, yet construction work on the road is done at a snail's pace. President Akufo-Addo, as part of his 2-day official visit to the Upper West region, inspected work on the 76-kilometer Wahen Road. The project, which is in phases, is being executed by P&W Ghanim Limited. The first 24 kilometers of the project has been completed, leaving 34 kilometers, which is still under construction. President Akufo-Addo stated that he already has plans afoot for the road.
As far as roads are concerned, as you are aware, the road that goes through Hain, goes from here to Tumu, is part of the Sino Hydro projects that are going to be rolled out as from September.
Despite the heavy downpour, the people of Ulo will not want to miss the opportunity of catching a glimpse of a certain president for the first time in their community. They defy the rain with pupils of basic schools holding placards, lauding intervention programs. Among the issues the paramount chief of the Ulo traditional area will want the government to tackle is the creation of a new district for the area and the lack of potable water.
Still watching Joy News today. Now, people living in especially mining areas are faced with water body pollution. This is done with dangerous substances such as mercury. Those in rural parts of the country also battle with cattle for the same source of drinking water with the imminent exposure to deadly germs. But that will soon be a thing of the past, as the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has designed a filter that can sieve out not only heavy metals, but also bacteria. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has been interacting with the lead scientist, Dr. Bright Kwachewa of the Department of Physics. So watching Join Us today, we'll bring you that story in later bulletins. Now, many communities in the Ashanti region remain cut off after bridges linking them to Kumasi and the rest of the region were destroyed by recent floods. Now, whilst some commuters seek alternative routes, others are treading dangerously on these broken bridges. Prince Apia visited some of these communities to see how the residents are coping with the situation and now reports.
Here at Adija, in the Bosomcho district of the Ashanti region, this bridge is the only link between the community and the main town. The recent rains succeeded in dividing the bridge into two. Vehicles would have to wait for the others to skillfully meander their way on the remaining half of the bridge. Residents here, when it rains, the other half might also break and completely cut them off.
Because I don't know what is going to happen to this piece tomorrow. And I know that definitely we can't hang on to this one. We got a lot of women, we got a lot of children, you know. And even this one is very dangerous. So, you know, children, sometimes they are working, they'll be praying. Somebody can fall into it, and it can be disastrous.
Left it only half. That we are now using it. So we don't know when the rain comes, what happens to the next one. So it's very, very scary.
I think there were no iron rods in the bridge. That is why it caved in. Akwesi Seth is a carpenter here. He was a victim of last week's floods after hours of rain, but he is back here today to face the odds.
When it rained, I lost my property, and this is where we earn our income. The bridge must be fixed for us.
At Esreso in the same district, residents have to climb and descend the remainder of this broken bridge to cross to the other side. As dangerous as it is, residents say that is the only option available.
First, now we in our boom, but I say I'm so kasi bit toy background star. Yes, the
situation extends to other communities in the Joso municipality as well. This is the bridge that connects Donaso, Onye, Esienimpong, Kwaso, Abenase, Kwamo and others from the main Ajuso community. Heavy rains 3 weeks ago have rendered it inaccessible. Residents improvise with this makeshift bridge. Blaise Kujo is a teacher at a Esienimpong MA Basic School.
Those who are not using motorbikes and using vehicles, it's increasing their cost of transportation per week. Previously, we were spending like 15 to 16 cedis per week, but now daily is 5 cedis. So by the end of the week, you are spending like 25 Ghana cedis.
He tells Love News The state of the bridge is affecting teaching and learning.
The time frame I'll have to use to commute from my end to school, it's affecting it. Because when I come, I have to wait. Sometimes I have to go to school late. And almost all other teachers applying this route. It's affecting us.
But the situation has created a job opportunity for commercial drivers here. A transport terminal has been created at the edge of the broken bridge to cash in on stranded travelers. But the trips are expensive, and Ernest Frimpong is a station master.
We have
two stations, one from Zongo Junction to this side. Then we continue from here to Abnasi and its environs. The bridge must be fixed for us.
This
woman has pitched camp here selling food for the new terminal.
We realized so many people come here, so we decided to cash in and sell some food and water.
Deputy Roads and Highways Minister Kwabena Owusu-Ediomi says these bridges can only be fixed after the rainy season.
This replacement will be in the dry season, and that should be in November, December, January, February. That's the time that we can do it. There is no way that you can construct even a coffer dam to block these huge volumes of water and put up a bridge or a culvert here. You can only have that dry weather.
Until then, residents in these communities will have to improvise and endure the challenges. Prince Apia reporting.
Let's take you back to that story where the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has designed a filter that can sieve out not only heavy metals but bacteria from water. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has been interacting with the lead scientist, Dr. Bright Kweku Kwache Ewua of the Department of Physics.
According to the Water Resources Commission, about 60% of Ghana's water bodies have been polluted through illegal mining activities. A 2017 study by the NGO Water Sanitation and Hygiene suggests 3 out of every 5 Ghanaian drinking water are contaminated by human waste, putting them at risk of contracting cholera, dysentery, typhoid and polio. Recently, clay pots have been used in rural homes to make polluted water safe for drinking. Though it filters out the dirt, heavy metals such as cadmium, mercury and arsenic find their way into the filtered drinking water. Again, the bacteria responsible for food poisoning, known as Escherichia coli, is not filtered out.
We tested different water samples and realized that in terms of color, nothing changed. The same color before the water was poured through, that color was the same. And then we did the microorganism test, we did the chemical test, we realized that actually it failed.
Dr. Kwache Ewua and his team, therefore, began researching into one of the naturally occurring substances in the earth crust, known as zeolite. Zeolites are commonly used for commercial and domestic water purification. It has a well-defined pore structure capable of filtering out bacteria and heavy metals.
So we need the raw material kaolin, and then we need the raw material bauxite. And that is what we have here. So once we get the two, then we add some reagents. And then the reagents and some processes will transform these two to the zeolite.
He collaborated with the Technology Consultancy Center of the university to process the substance and combine with clay to produce what he calls zeolite nanopore filters. The filter is capable of producing bacteria and heavy metal-free water. Interestingly, the filters perform better than the ones already on the market, including imported ones.
Could not really pass any of the tests, the imported one. This is not to indict them, but in fact that is what we found. And then the one from TCC, like I've said, it failed the filtration rate. The filtration rate was low, and then the microorganisms were forming. The zeolite clay one improved the filtration rate, but not like the pot one, the one with the bigger pot on top. And then, again, because we added trace quantities of, very trace quantity, in fact, ppb concentration of silver ions to it. So no microorganism was formed. And as you saw with the one Dr. Tamaklo was using, he has been using it for the past 5 to 6 years. And he's still using it, meaning that no mold had been forming. So it means microorganisms are inhibited. And then also the filtration rate, he is using it alone, so it's okay for him. But for a household, like I said, you need to add 1 or 2 more of the candles in order to meet the requirement.
Still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Baba Tando is next with sports.